A lot of people ask me when they're first starting their window cleaning business how to make their first $100,000. And it's actually a lot easier than you would think, but there are some things that are really important to get right the first time. And there's things that if you don't do them early, you're paying for years in terms of lost momentum. Welcome back to Clean for Profit. And today I'm joined by Dave Scribani, as always. What's up, Dave?
What's up, man?
Let's
Ready?
talk let's talk about this question that comes up all the time, man. I think that it's becoming less of a benchmark now, thanks to inflation, but like everyone's curious on how to break six figures in general, whether it's in, a job, a trade, or in starting their own small business. Uh, and I think I think that on the good and bad side, 100 grand is way less than it sounds like. On the good side, making 100 grand is like just a matter of you're not even pulling in 2,500 a week in terms of the work that you're doing. I mean, 2,500 a week if you work, and if you take 2 weeks out of the year off, is 125K.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about crazy, crazy weeks that you're pulling. You can easily sell a $2,500 a week, like in 2 or 3 days, depending on what market you're in.
Yeah.
So it's not an astronomical number. Now, you mentioned the same applies on the other side of things. Like it's really easy to eat through 100 grand
Oh yeah.
in weeks or months if you're scaling your business. But I think the first thing I just wanted to dispel is like if you're wondering that, it's it's less than what you're probably thinking.
Yeah.
So that should be, I don't know. For me, that's a relief. But there are some important things to make sure you're doing right off the bat. And I'll let you speak to this, but I think the most important thing to do first is just to build momentum early. So,
Yeah, and doing that by working.
right.
Like
Right.
go get your hands dirty. I wouldn't focus too. A lot of people get stuck on. I need a logo. I need I need business cards printed. I need to get my insurance. I need to make sure I have a DBA or an LLC.
Right.
And all of those things are very important. When you start, though, go make money.
Yeah.
Go make money. I remember there was someone that that called me one time, and this is something I've known for a while. And she wanted to start just an interior residential cleaning company.
Mhm.
And she started doing all this math on like all these things that she needed to do and buy. And it added up to like just under $8,000. She's like, I need $8,000 to start a cleaning business. And I'm like, no, you don't. Go go pick up some Windex, some cleaning products, some towels, some rags, and a vacuum. Like we're talking about some very low cost here. Like
Yeah.
you don't need all of that. So you haven't moved and done anything just because you're stuck on I don't have $8,000
Right.
to buy what you need. Yeah, go make money and you'll get the money to buy all of the things that you desire and will make the job easier in the long run.
Yeah.
But it's like just go start. Like
Yeah.
go make money.
Totally. Yeah. There's definitely a cost to, you know, this is such a nuanced topic because like you need to start when you're ready, but a lot of people think that ready means that you have all the equipment you're ever going to need.
Which you
So,
never do, by the way.
right. Yeah. No, no, no. I mean, I
You
just
you
spent
you
most
never
of, I just spent, not most of, just spent more than I made last month on equipment and I need more stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's not,
Yeah.
it's not enough.
Yeah, we just
So,
spent 30,000.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. There's always like more. And like, you're probably going to need another rig in 6 months.
No, 100%.
Yeah, it max.
Yeah.
I mean, you just started. That'd be an interesting thing to talk about, actually. But you just started house washing, soft washing, etc. It's like you're going to grow. You're going to need more equipment soon. So the point is, you need to start when you're ready, but you're ready before you probably think you are.
100%.
Being ready is more about just making sure that if things don't work out right off the bat, you're not devastating your life.
Yeah.
It's not about getting the absolute highest quality equipment you possibly can. So yeah, I mean, this early momentum phase is all about
Grow at the speed of cash. That's probably
Yeah.
the best thing that someone's ever told me.
totally.
Grow at the speed of cash.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way to make sure that you're not keeping too much of your cash and you're
Yeah.
actually reinvesting back into your business, but also you're not like crazy leveraging yourself with credit cards and
Yeah.
stuff like that to just increase your risk unnecessarily,
Yeah.
kind of, especially in a business that's so that's relatively inexpensive to start.
Yeah.
You don't need 100 grand buy-in to
Yeah.
go start cleaning windows. You need, 500, 1,000,
Yep.
$2,500 if you're
100%,
being
bro.
really fancy.
Yeah.
Well, like this phase, building early momentum, is about just that. It's very much so a hustle, like getting the first, you know, 50 jobs on the
Yeah.
books. Um, and so there's some things that you can and should do. You don't have to do all of these, but you need to do one or two of them. That can be like going out and knocking on doors. There's so many guys on social media that are out knocking doors. You can literally just go get their scripts
Yeah.
from them. They're viral and they make a lot of money because for a reason, and it's because they have scripts and they work. So if it works, if you work it. So, and that goes for any method that you're doing. So if you're knocking doors, I actually prefer door hangers because like for me, like knocking doors and like interrupting a stranger's day, I'd rather eat glass than
Yep.
do that, frankly. It's just not my vibe. And I've done a lot of sales, but it's not the vibe for me. You can do way more door hangers than door knocking. And, you can still get to a point where if you put up, a few hundred door hangers in a day, you're closing multiple jobs off of that. So that's not something to kind of eliminate from your possibilities right off the bat. In-person networking is less tangible, but it can also be incredibly effective if you're in the right places. There's what's the speaking groups? Toastmasters. I don't know if
I've
you're
never heard of that.
Toastmasters is a national community of people that get together in small groups of like 5 to 15, and it's a public speaking meetup. It's international or not it's national. There's probably one in the city closest to you, especially if you live in a populated area. But they meet up and they take turns basically giving talks and critiquing each other and like giving
Oh,
feedback.
sweet.
Ultimately, this is a place where you have an opportunity to educate people through practicing public speaking about what you do. So it's really common among real estate agents.
Yeah.
And like if you go to a Toastmasters, I guarantee there's 2 to 4 like it's like 30% of the people that go to Toastmasters are real estate agents. And that's because they have something relevant to talk about. Like
Yeah.
the market's always changing. There's evergreen principles in especially, American real estate that is worth teaching people about.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's one example of a networking event that you can go to that is actually potentially very effective.
Yeah.
We have real estate agents that have reached out to us and, they've contributed healthy 5 figures per year of revenue to our business just through the people that they're listing homes for or selling.
Yeah. For us, it's builders.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Builders is crazy because they're
post-construction cleans, so they're high ticket.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really it. They're high ticket. Not every window cleaner likes to mess with those.
Yeah.
Either. That's hard window cleaning.
That's a tough one. That is not something that I would necessarily advise people to just like jump into if they're new.
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn about window cleaning before you.
I have a story for how I learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. What's that?
So I got a call from a lady who was a real estate investor in Nashville. And she called me after I was doing this for 3 months. And I'm very much a yes man kind of guy.
Yeah.
And she calls me and she's like, "Hey, I have a property," is what she said.
Uh-huh.
And it's in Nashville. It's just about to be done. And she's like, "I need an estimate on some post-construction." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I get there, we go look at it, and when we walk up to it, I'm seeing the properties, and in Nashville, they're building up these there are these 3-story homes that are super narrow. They're very narrow homes, but they're huge. They're 3 stories tall with like rooftop access.
Yeah.
And they're on top of each other.
Gotcha.
Like you can go like this and almost in between each one and almost touch them. Is my camera moving?
No.
Okay.
I'm just keeping an eye on it.
Anyways, there was 10 of them. They're 5,500 square foot each.
Whoa.
And they're 3 stories. Each one had around 80 fixed windows.
Ooh.
And it was inside and out.
Can't open them. Wow.
Anyways, she's like, "Can you do post-construction?" She's like, "I can't find anyone that'll do it." And I was like, "Yeah, of course we can." Mind you, I'm 3 months into window cleaning.
Yep.
I severely underbid. Thankfully, I had some great great guys. Alex, is still one of my current employees. He was there with me during this time. I brought in a friend and contracted him. He's a window cleaner in Nashville, so he was already experienced. But we did all of the pressure washing on these these 10 homes, and all the window cleaning inside and out. And we did get it done, and it took 12 days.
Wow.
But I mean, I was stressed beyond belief.
Yeah, for sure.
For those 12 days.
Sure.
Because I did not realize that you couldn't just squeegee off glue.
Yeah.
Like I
totally.
didn't know.
Yeah.
I got there. I'm like, oh wow, we need razors. Oh wait, they're tempered glass. So like, this is a total game changer.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
it's good that
a mess.
it's good that you realized that before you touched razors to that glass.
Yeah.
You're doing some due diligence for sure.
Sorry, that was off topic.
No, it's okay. I think the point is that like real estate agents, especially when it comes to networking in person, that can be very, very effective. And so can just cold calling people and like getting on vendor lists, for example. That's a good long play. We're going to talk about foundations next, so I'll get into that a little bit more as something that's really good for like bolstering your business long term. Attention. I'm just going to update my notes.
By the way, when you say yes to stuff like that, that's how you really learn.
Yeah, dude, you're not going to learn by posting to.
Yeah, it was terribly stressful. Yeah. But guess what? We're one of, I think, 3 window cleaning companies in our area that do post construction.
Right.
And the reason we say yes to it now all the time is because we're really good at it and we have a process for it. But that was from taking the risk of jumping into some unknown deep waters and just figure it out. Yeah.
Now, I want to be clear. We're talking about early momentum. The reality about these things that we've been talking about, things like door hangers, door knocking, networking in person, and, participating with Facebook or LSA, like getting into ads. These are all things that you can take these to the bank.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything else that we're going to talk about in this episode to actually make $100,000, which goes back to our point of like, it's actually not that much. It's not a massive deal to break 6 figures, and you can do it really badly, which is like, if you only do this building momentum thing, that's great. You can make a lot of money. You're not thinking long-term. So that's what we're going to talk about, because like what you want to do in your business is not make $100,000.
Yeah.
You want to build something that appreciates in its value from a revenue and profit standpoint annually, year over year.
Yeah.
So like moving into talking about building a foundation for your business is like, while you're doing, you have to hustle. You need to build early momentum and you need to lean into that. So like if you're doing door hangers or knocking doors, get a partner or hire somebody. I'm 8 years in, we're doing door hangers this year. I haven't put up a single door hanger this year. But we've put 7,500 door hangers up through a team that I've hired to go out and put up door hangers for me. And we started to see a return from that. So, like you can accelerate this early momentum stuff long term to build a business for yourself. It's incredibly important to make sure, however, that you're not building a house on sand. You need a house that has a firm foundation.
Preach.
And there's a few ways to do that, and they're all really important. So the first thing, and I heard you talking to one of your coaching clients yesterday about this specifically, which is like, you need a Google business profile, period. Yeah. I hesitate to say that you have to do all this stuff up front. The reality is the sooner you do this stuff, the better.
Yeah, for sure.
I never say, like, I won't say never, but I try to underemphasize this a little bit from like an operator and early growth standpoint, because people can sit on this and not do the things that build momentum early on. But that is a caveat. Day one, you should have a Google business profile up, like as early as possible. Because
to be honest, to relieve a lot of these questions on when and when I shouldn't do things, you just find someone that you can like bounce ideas off of that's ahead of you.
Right.
Knows the industry that you're in, and ask for guidance.
Yeah.
Like that's really what you need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's a big thing.
The reality about like what you want to do long term that's really going to continue your momentum and build it past beyond what you could ever do if you were just out knocking doors or putting up door hangers is make sure that you're visible long term to
Yeah.
people that are looking for your service. The way right now, like we'll see how, I think that large language models are going to sort of change this um, over a long time span, and probably the ways that you rank are still going to be pretty similar.
Yeah.
But right now, everybody, when they're looking for a service, goes to Google.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Google is the authority on how to find local home service businesses. So getting your Google business profile up as soon as possible is very important because when you're building early momentum, part of the way that you turn that early momentum into long-term momentum is by getting reviews on your Google business profile.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest thing that's going to help you rank long-term. So that's extremely important. When did you get your Google business profile up right away, or when was yours up when you started your business?
Yeah, but again, I'm kind of like an anomaly in that because I was in the marketing space for so long. So I knew I knew how to do that very quickly.
Yeah.
So I had the idea of Glass Therapy. My wife is the one that came up with the name and the logo.
Yeah.
And the second she came in with the name and the logo, I was like, that's perfect. Google business profile.
Yeah.
So, but I knew how to do it. A lot of people don't. A lot of people will try to get one and they get rejected or it gets shut down immediately. So again, there's still prioritized go and make money.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Next time you're out making money, knocking doors, cleaning windows, hustling, when you get home, open your phone, set a timer for 20 minutes, go to business.google.com
Yeah.
and run through all the steps.
Yeah.
You can do it in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You can also sit on it for 6 months and then do it in 20 minutes. So do it sooner than later. Like Dave said, there's a good chance you're going to run into some problems setting it up. Google is a pain in the ass. Don't
Yeah.
tell them I said that. They're already listening to this podcast, I'm sure, and just, demoting me terribly for saying that. But there's a good chance your profile is going to get suspended when you set it up.
Yeah.
There's no good reason for it. Hit me up if you need some guidance on that. I need to make a page on my agency website as just like a guide to how to
Yeah.
get out
Just
of
steps.
because it's like 30% of people that sign up for profiles now get suspended. And you
That's
really,
crazy.
as an individual, it's almost impossible to get it reinstated. You need help to do it.
Yeah.
I can't help
And
you.
sometimes you can't.
I can't help you. I can point you in the direction of
Yeah.
somebody that can. It's not a service that I'm interested in
Yeah.
providing,
Yeah.
frankly.
Same.
But don't
No
get stuck
thanks.
for tons of years. I saw somebody who posted recently on Facebook that was like, I finally set up a new Google business profile after getting suspended. It's like, I didn't want to give up my 50 reviews. And it's like, oh, bro, you gotta just get help. Get help. 50 reviews
Yeah.
is too many to give up, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
No, it totally is.
The next thing you need foundation wise is a good website. You know what? You need a website that is conversion optimized, that is built using SEO best practices. So
Yeah.
your page titles are in sync, your descriptions are written according to search engine optimization best practices, which, if you don't know, is just like if you've ever been to a library, it's organized in a specific way. So if you're looking for something, you know where to go. And when you look up a given topic in a library directory, it tells you exactly where to go. It's the same thing with Google. Google's job is to make sure that they're presenting the most relevant data that they possibly can
Yeah.
to people that are searching for a given service or product or whatever. And the way that you make sure that you are showing up as a relevant search result is by adding relevant content and by setting up your page in a bunch of nerdy ways that I won't get into that are optimized for Google recognizing what you do,
Yeah.
where you do it, etc., and that you're a high quality business that's active in the space, and all of the above. So I'm more than happy to rant. Like, we'll probably eventually do an SEO based podcast for the nerds that are interested in that, like me. But making sure that you have that set up pairs with your Google business profile.
Yeah.
So it's just another signal to Google that indicates that you're a relevant business that is in the area that your clients are searching in, and therefore you should be showing up long term in the area. So yeah, how many reviews do you have on your Google business profile?
I think like 140.
140.
Yeah.
I
Close
think
to
I'm
that.
at, I think I'm at 126 now. How, like, To your knowledge, how important is that for a home
Oh
service
my,
business?
it's massive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
massive.
Like, honestly, if you only did one thing long term to build your business.
Yeah, never stop
Yeah,
getting reviews.
yeah, absolutely.
And it's equally important, I would say, to respond to them,
Yeah, yeah,
positive and negative, and how you respond to negative reviews. That actually, we could probably do an episode just on that.
yeah, yeah.
Um, a lot of people freak out when they get negative reviews, and it's funny. I said this on one of our episodes yesterday, how that stresses me out, and I have to remind myself, like, yeah, the idea of getting it stresses me out. And it's because I'm the owner and I want my business to be great and I want it to be perceived as great, because I believe that it is. But if you get a bad review, typically the rule of thumb is just how you respond will stand out more than the bad review.
Totally. Yeah, yeah, agreed.
People will read how you respond.
Yeah,
And if you're snarky and you complain back to the customer and be like, well, you said this and we agreed on this. Like if you do that, that's real bad practice.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, as is just saying something like, "I'm sorry, but we don't have your name in our records as a customer,"
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like totally eschewing any responsibility, even if that's true. I think the only time where you could maybe do that is if you just get a blank 1-star
Yeah. Yeah.
review.
Yeah. Like, what is this?
There's no explanation. We talked about this before, but there are fraudulent reviews that people will use in order to try to scam you. Keep that in mind, especially if you ever get 3 in a row in very short sequence, and especially if someone reaches out to you saying that they were paid by another company to get those bad reviews on your profile. That's something I won't go into how to navigate that again. Hit me up or dig through our previous episodes and you'll find it. But I'd be happy to walk you through how to navigate that. But yeah, it's super important to get reviews early on. And dude, here's something I'll admit. I've been doing this for 8 years now. And for the first 5.5 years, I collected a total of 23 reviews. Yeah, yeah. So about 4.1 reviews a year, something
Yeah.
like that. And then over the last year and a half, we've gotten the remaining 103.
Put some emphasis on getting those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that I was doing at the time, and this is why it was so slow,
Just
was
show everybody.
I
How do you
would
get them?
yeah,
Where is
absolutely.
it?
Please do.
I have it somewhere.
The only thing that I was doing at that time was, like, if I really, really liked the client, sometimes I would text them
Google
after.
tap cards.
Yeah.
Literally, you just walk up to the customer, they hold their phone up to it and scan it, and it instantly
Boom.
got it.
Yep.
What did it open up? Let's
Done.
see.
So about 5 seconds ago, I scanned that. I just put my phone on top of that card, and I'm currently looking at the interface to leave a review for Dave's business. That's how easy it
You
is.
better leave one.
Yeah, absolutely. A 1 star,
Whoa.
no details.
Oh no.
And yeah. I'm sorry, Chris Bagatini hit me up and told me to do that. So
Oh,
if
did
you
he?
pay me to
Yeah, yeah.
take them down,
Okay,
I'll
I got you.
I
All
won't
right,
put up 30 more.
I'm gonna put out a hit.
Yeah, so I mean, the reason that I had so few reviews over 4.5 years was that I was only asking. I was asking when I thought of it. I was only asking people that I really liked and that really liked me, and that I knew for sure would leave that 5-star review.
So you didn't have any automation
I
going
had
out.
0 automation, and then I would sometimes like ask and then follow up after I was
Yeah.
gone with that one text. That was it. Now it's totally different. I need to get on board with those tap cards. I don't have those yet, but that's great to have technicians have. They pull that out, scan it, especially if you're incentivizing techs to go
Yeah.
get reviews for you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that in a second, but we now have that fully automated. So we've built automations that we now offer other window cleaning businesses that are built into our business. They tie right into the CRM, whatever CRM you use. We use Jobber. So in Jobber, whenever an invoice is set to paid, it automatically puts them on we use a timer. We have a 12-hour timer that counts down. Some would say that that's a detriment, but we also, in the rare cases, this happens 1 out of maybe every 50 clients.
Yeah.
We just don't want them to leave a review.
100%.
Not because they're not happy, maybe because they're not happy. I mean, that's something that rarely comes up, but for whatever reason, man, you don't want everybody to get that. So we put a 12-hour timer on it. You can add a tag to a contact in order to have it not sent. But If you don't do anything after 12 hours during business hours, so it doesn't send at 2 a.m., it sends them a first text. It's like, thanks so much. Let us know if there's anything we can do for you. So it's like a light quality assurance.
Yeah.
And then it goes to mywebsite.com/review, which has access to all of our review platforms.
Yeah.
So for us, that's just, we have Google, Facebook, Yelp, and Nextdoor.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 that we have on there. And you can just click one and it leads to the same place that your Google Tap card took me to. And that alone, then 48 hours later, it sends them another request. So that if they haven't left one, they can go leave one at that point. It's just 2 touches.
Yep.
That's it. That is where all of those reviews have come from.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of automating that. Now, Dave, I know you get a little bit more personal and actually get closer to the client in terms of follow up and asking for a review. What do you do after a job's complete?
Yeah. So my guys are trained to, when they go up and ask the customer if they would like to do a lap around their property to just see the work that was completed, that's when my techs are trained to take out that Google Tap card and say, hey, before I leave and while I'm packing up, would you mind just tapping this with your phone and leaving us a Google review before I go? And in fact, I have a tech that started a couple weeks ago, and last week he was out on his own for the first time, and he had 100% of his jobs left reviews, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's huge. And that's the thing too, when you ask people in person, I don't know if anyone's ever just been like, no, unless they are old and they don't have a Google account or something. But in general, everyone will say yes. And it also gives you the opportunity to, when you ask, you're asking customers where it'll bring up, if they're not happy about something, it also gives you the opportunity face to face to help make sure you do something right, or you fix a window that maybe you didn't clean all the way, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
You're already there, right?
Right.
So, and when you send out text automation is great. They're great reminders, but don't use that as like your only option.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, the thing with like what you do and what your techs do is you're ensuring quality. Well, what else do you do next day?
Oh, I call. So after a job is completed, I take the initiative to call each customer and ask how their experience was and make sure that they were actually really happy with the service that they got. And I also use that as an opportunity to, at the very least, rebook them again or share some information about our service plans.
Totally. Cool. Yeah, man. All of those things are just huge foundations for ensuring quality in your service. As you start to let go of the reins in terms of not being the guy that's out cleaning glass, that's a massive benefit, because you're making sure that the work that's being done, instead of just not following up with your clients and hoping they had a good experience and hoping that you don't hear back in 6 months when you call them to rebook that they weren't happy with the last time, you're getting ahead of that.
Yeah.
So that's incredibly important. And I'm going to not leave a 1-star review for you.
Thank you so
I
much.
opened my phone and it's still set to 1 star.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah. So
everyone, please go report Colby's review.
Yeah, please. So on that, the other things in terms of building foundation are getting on social media to some degree. So get a Facebook page set up. You're going to need one if you're going to run Facebook ads.
Yeah.
Same goes for Instagram. I'm a hypocrite on this one. Like I'm not active on social media. We were talking about this yesterday. It's like I've heard so many people talk about, reference the podcast, including, I don't want to get into your private life, but I'm hanging out with your family, and one of your daughters was on the phone with a woman that I don't know who that was, but she was older, not part of my core audience. And she was like, oh yeah, I've heard about the podcast. And it's like, that's all because you're active on social media, which I appreciate, but it's like, bro, I need to get more active on that. And the same goes for you. Like if you're running a window cleaning business in your area, it's worth it to be relatively active on social media. Don't overthink it. You don't need to be posting every single day. Like being present. Okay. Dave thinks you do. Dave does. So I'm not surprised that he would say
it's easy stuff though. I like people, especially the stuff that's entertaining and satisfying to watch, like squeegeeing windows. People love watching that stuff. Totally. Set up your phone, get a little tripod right behind you while you're cleaning a window, and easy stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Especially with meta glasses and GoPros. Like you can strap so much stuff to you to make gathering content super easy.
For sure. Yeah, I'm looking into the Meta glasses for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a little skeptical on how much of a disruption they can be
Yeah.
because they have so much integrated into them
Yeah.
that like, yeah, I'm not trying to like scroll reels in my
No. No,
glasses.
no. Yeah. I wanna be present
Yeah.
in life.
So in order to make your first 100K, but also build a business that grows off of that 100K as a foundation, we also need to be thinking about bolstering business long term, which is part of like the foundations that we just talked about, but this is like even more forward looking than that. So we talked about reviews, review automation, etc. Retention is another huge one.
Yeah,
So
the value of a customer.
yeah, 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 which comes to like cost per lead. Like how much are you paying per person that you're actually ending up to go clean windows for? It can be a lot higher if your retention is good.
Yes.
You know, if the first time you clean a customer's window is the first of a dozen times that you clean their windows,
Yeah.
all of a sudden your cost per lead has gone down dramatically, or cost per job rather. Having retention systems built into your business is incredibly important. I know you've done that through building out like a recurring pricing structure
Yeah.
in your business. How's that going, by the way? What's your client count look like in terms of how many people you have on recurring contracts right now?
Oh gosh, I don't even know the number. I mean, it's growing nonstop because that's what we really push for.
Yeah.
And especially when you're paying for leads, you want to get the most out of that.
Right.
And in an ideal world, the value of a customer should be higher than just one visit.
Yeah.
Which is why we push service plans. And yeah, I don't even know what the number is. I don't know how many people we have on those, but
Yeah.
I mean, it is substantial. That's why in December of 2025, we had over 100,000 scheduled for 2026.
Yeah.
Before the year even started.
Totally.
So that's a result of reoccurring.
There you go. That's not just like going out and being like, how
Yeah. So
can I
actually
make
think about that for a second. We're talking about just making 100K.
Yeah.
I could stop advertising completely, fire every employee, and I have 100K scheduled for 2026.
Yeah, totally. And that's the difference between like, there's two mindsets here. And that's, I think, why we kind of clickbaited you into how to make your first 100K. It's like, you don't want to make 100K, dude.
Yeah.
You want to build $100,000 business.
Yeah.
Like, and beyond, obviously. But like, how much better would it be to have 100 grand scheduled?
Yeah. A
rather
year
than
in
just,
advance.
yeah, rather than just making 100 grand this year.
Yeah.
And that goes for any number. I mean, if you're just working a normal job right now, I mean, think about what it would look like for you if you knew in the next 6 to 12 months you had $50,000 of work scheduled for your business.
Yeah.
Like you make that in a year. I don't know you,
Yeah.
but let's say that that's you. Let's say you're making $35,000 to $50,000 a year. What if you also had that scheduled in advance? The amount of freedom and just like, yeah, that's an incredible feeling.
Yeah.
Compared to, your next 50 grand is going to come paycheck by paycheck over 3, 6, 9, 18 months.
Yeah.
So that's where real freedom comes from in this business, is knowing that you have customers that trust you, have rebooked with you. And yeah, man, that's really where the benefit comes from long term. So having retention systems similar to reviews, like you want to make sure that you're doing something like Dave is doing, like calling your customers, trying to get them on some kind of a retention plan, even if you're not baking in full on recurring regular maintenance plans into your clients, into your business's agenda. Getting them on the schedule for 6 months down the road, like whenever they're going to need their next cleaning, and just having them tentatively scheduled so that at least when to follow up to rebook them. And the same goes, we have a pretty lightweight but way more effective than nothing system that we build our clients as well, which is like similar to the review automation.
Yeah.
At 6 and 12 months, and you can change this according to whatever your preferences are. It simply texts the client and sends you to yourwebsite.com/rebook. Or it says, type yes, respond with yes to rebook, or go to this link. They can fill out a 2-second form because you already have their information in your CRM.
Yeah.
First, last name, boom, they send it, and you reach out to rebook.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that, like, if you have 100 clients, which isn't that much, it saves you, a ton of time, if you're not the kind of person that's inclined to just like pick up the phone
100%,
and call
bro.
100 people.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
So good.
The last thing I wanted to get into two more things is like generally building brand awareness. This is like big brain, long-term
Yeah.
kind of stuff, but you had a billboard.
Yeah.
Do you still have one up?
Not during the slow season. No.
Okay. So you've kind of gone back and forth on
Yeah.
that. In our first talk, we talked about how that was one thing that you wouldn't do if you started again. About a month ago, I heard you kind of bringing it up as like a
Yeah.
potential benefit. And then yesterday, you kind of went into the actual thesis that you have now
Yeah.
on it. What is it?
Yeah. What my opinion on it is wavered back and forth many times. And so far, this could change again, who knows? But so far, my opinion on billboards, after having them I had it up for 8 months.
Mhm.
And I had different ones throughout town. My opinion is they're great for brand awareness. It's like a digital awareness campaign, I guess you could say, if you were running that on like Meta. It's fun to drive past your own billboard and see your brand or yourself or your company up on a giant, just a giant billboard. I think it gives the business a perceived, it's perceived as being is bigger than it can actually be.
You have clout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was good for those things. I didn't necessarily see I can't apply like a much of an ROI to it.
Yeah.
But we would ask people when they called us, how did you hear about us? It was very rare someone said billboard. Very, very rare. It probably was one of those things that maybe added to the reason why they called. They
Right.
probably originally saw us on Facebook or Instagram, and then maybe they Googled us, and then they're driving around town, and they're like, oh, now I'm seeing the billboards.
Yeah.
This company's like standing out, right?
Right.
Ultimately, I think they're great if you have the money to spend and lose.
Totally.
That's what I think they're good for.
Sure.
So if you can spend they vary in price depending on where you're located.
Yeah.
So out here in Clarksville, $550 a month is what I was paying. That's very inexpensive. If I was in Nashville, I'd be looking at $2,500 a month. So drastically different in price.
Yeah.
And in that case, I would never spend that kind of money. To be honest, $550, I'm still like,
Yeah, totally. Okay. Last thing I wanted to talk about is like long-term bolstering your business. This is something that is like kind of a mix between the hustle side of things and building up something that's long-term.
Yeah.
But I heard you on, your coaching call last night talking about a vendor list that you got onto.
Yeah.
Tell us about that particular situation real quick.
Yeah. So a lot of times, one of the questions we get asked a lot, and we'll see this on window cleaning Facebook pages, owners will ask, how do I do all the, how do I get commercial customers and these big buildings and all this stuff? It can be perceived as difficult. But ultimately, you can call a lot of these places and ask how to get added to their vendor list.
Mhm.
There's a college out near me called Austin Peay University. It's a fairly large campus, relatively speaking, and has a lot of different buildings and a lot of windows. And I don't know if they have a window cleaner or not. So I called, and instead of saying, who can I talk to about cleaning your windows, which you're never going to, that's a dead end. Like you're not going to get to the right person. You call and say, hey, I'm looking to get added to your vendor list. And anyways, that's what I did. I called them. I got transferred a couple times before they got me to the right person. But I eventually got to the guy who oversees their vendors. He's like, yeah, that's super easy. What's your email? Told him my email, and he emailed me 3 documents that I had to fill out, that just basic business information, including a voided check for payment. Should they ever hire me, they can pay me. And that's literally all you have to do.
Cool.
That is all you have to do.
Yeah. So, and did you end up getting hired?
Yeah, so not for the whole campus, but we did. There's an old historic house on their property that the president of the campus resides in sometimes. Okay. And we did that house.
So here's the thing. I would personally, this is a place where I would like pump the brakes a little bit. Make sure that, I know we have the idea of like, okay, go out and make money.
This is also where you actually do need insurance.
I was about to say.
They're not going to hire you without that.
Yeah, this is after you have insurance,
LLC
and
or
your
whatever.
LLC, or have your business set up, and you need to make sure that those ducks are in a row. But what you should do after that, what I would encourage you to do if you're sitting around in your spare time gaming like I do, go to ChatGPT or any LLM that works. Go into a deep research mode. Tell it about your market area. Tell it that you're looking for commercial buildings. What I did this with new construction. I'm looking for construction companies in this greater area. I went a little outside my market area typically that I would because these new construction opportunities can be huge.
Yeah.
If there's suburban opportunities where they're putting up 300 homes in a community, and tell it to do deep research on all of these places that are specific to your preferences. So 1 to 2 story new construction homes in XYZ area, and to go into the directories of these businesses' websites or as close as they can get to it, looking on sources like LinkedIn, etc.,
Yeah.
to gather information on project managers and superintendents of those construction sites. And in 20 minutes, it'll do that research for you and it will spit you out
Yeah.
a spreadsheet depending on your area. For me, I got 60 names, numbers, and
There you
emails.
go.
Um,
That's a great idea.
yeah, a lot of those were just general like company emails or phone numbers rather. But nevertheless, you call all of those places, you're
Yeah.
going to get on a dozen vendor lists
Yeah.
at least. And are you going to see results from it right off the bat? Probably not. But on a
The point
three,
is that once you're there and if they need your service,
you're
probably gonna
there.
call you.
Their vendor list
Yep. They're
is
gonna need
something
you
that's
eventually.
pretty static.
Yeah.
They add to it as far as I know, unless somebody really gets pissed off and tells them to
Remove
remove
you.
you, you're staying there.
Yeah.
So eventually, if they have a need, they're going to call you, and they're going to look to that authority. Their vendor list is their authority on a lot of things. So that's something that's like grindy up front, but also really valuable long term
Yeah.
for your business.
Yeah.
So
100%.
yeah,
Great
man.
idea.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I think these things are really important. It's easy to, especially when you're in a situation where you're working a job that you hate or doesn't pay you enough, to just think like, how can I go make 100 grand? And like, I feel you. There's bills that need to get paid and you should be thinking about that. But I would encourage you, especially in a business with such incredibly high turnover in terms of owners, to think about how you're not just building your next paycheck, but a business that's going to support you and your family long term. So this has been Clean for Profit. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next one.